It's Monday, April 11th. We're going to do take 2 as we're having struggly bits from there. To all of you, camp stuff. You find out your camp information on Thursday. Most of you find out your camp information on Thursday. The reason being is that I am old, and the drawback to me being old is sometimes I lose things. And for some of you, I will end up losing your camp information. The way that I find out if I lose your camp information is by your choices you make this week. And when you make choices this week that make me charge you B points and make me grumpy, I've misplaced your camp stuff. And that's why you won't get to find out until Friday. That's why it says Friday, round 2 of camp stuff. Some of you guys are going to make me really grumpy, and I might not be able to find your camp stuff until Monday when you guys show up at school. And a handful of you, I might not find your camp stuff until you actually show up at camp Monday afternoon. And we'll see what happens from there. Mr. Brovicast, are you threatening us? Yes, absolutely. I'm telling you that your choices you make this week are going to shape how much you cry on Thursday. Plus, when you find out the camp information, I don't tell you who's in your group. I tell you what group you're in. As an example, I will go frisky. You are in Group R, Table 5, Bus 9, Cabin 25. And that is all you find out. To find out who's in your group, you're going to do this thing called talking to other humans. And you go talk to other people and go, I'm in Group R. Are you in Group R? Nope, we're not in the same. And that's how you go around and find out who is going to be in your group. That way, you can't just try and like those kids who don't find out their stuff until Friday, you can't try and cheat and tell them ahead of time. And then it requires you. So you won't know who's in your group and cabin and all that until Monday at camp. And that's when you'll probably know everybody. I would recommend talking to the people you put on your friend list because that's who I tried to use for your friend buddy list. So you should talk to those 3 people first to try and help yourself out. Selma!
Are your cabin people and group people the same?
Nope. Each one's different. Yes.
Where do I find the video for this homework?
It's not on there.
Yeah,
You had to go back and watch it during class. Selma.
So can the same people be in your cabin crew as your group?
Mm-hmm. Some people, if you are in that the group that I really like, you're going to have your same 3 friends in your group, in your cabin, at your table. But for most of you, that's not how it worked out. For most of you, you got one of those friends in your group, one of those friends in your cabin, one of those friends at your table. Sometimes it doubled up, sometimes not. Ray!
Why are there like differences in the people who are like in each? Like why can't I just be the same?
Because your group has 2 genders in it and your cabin does not.
Oh, you have to wait. So hold on. You have to like you have to only you can only be in the same cabin as a
The same gender as you? Yes. Yeah. It gets real awkward otherwise. So, yeah.
What? Ain't nobody. That's what.
So then let's see, same seat. I learn. So, later this week, either Thursday or Friday, we will be going over camp stuff with you. I don't know which day it's going to be. We have a quiz one of the days, and we'll do camp stuff the other day. And we'll go through and start going and talking, and I'll tell you guys of what to pack and what to prepare for and what happens on Monday and stuff like that. So we do have one more camp talkie day coming up. We're just not there yet. Jameson?
This is for everyone, just to let you know, because there's something that I probably never told anyone.
Okay.
I do snore, just to let you guys know, so you're fully aware if you're in my cabin.
Well, wait until they're in your cabin. We don't all need to know that, but thanks, Jameson. And then I Learn. You are doing I Learn tomorrow and Thursday. It is just I Learn practice, not full big I Learn. Tomorrow during best, you don't go to best. You're going to go back to first period or whatever class your first period told you guys are going to. Hopefully, if you have school iPad, you should have this already on there. If you don't have school iPad, you need to have made sure you downloaded this because that's how you do it. So I'll sort of walk you guys through that stuff tomorrow. And this is those of you who are missing the homework. And here.
How to be a good citizen.
And then let's see. And this week, at some point, you are going to have to actually start reading on your own with your own brain. I will read a good chunk this week with you, but at some point, you'll have to read on your own. So that's why I'm reminding you that the little Outsiders page, it has the audio book on it to help you out. My goal is to read until at least we get to the exciting part with the killing and whatnot, and then at some point you do have to do reading on your own, but I'll try to get you up to an exciting spot and then let you guys go from
That's
there.
not very cool kid of you.
Well, I could have let you guys read the whole book, but I was trying to do something.
You're such a cool kid. I never actually realized how much of a cool kid
Thank
you
you.
were.
I felt the same way. Maybe I'll find your camp stuff this week.
That's a good thing.
So those of you who are on Remind, I sent you a picture over Remind, over break, because when I was doing my grocery shopping down there, came across and found the fact they had a whole bunch of the Newman Zone aisle, and I was like, oh! So it made me all happy.
That's very good of
It
you,
was
Mr. Brovicast.
not cheap at all. It was like twice as expensive as all the other ones out there, but
Oh,
Did you get
he
it?
wears different costumes, so it's all kinds of adorable. Anyway,
did you get it?
I did not.
You should do that.
I got the
You
wishbone
should
down there.
sell
Man, that's a scam.
Let's see. We've talked about greasers. We've talked about Sochas.
Sucks.
The red Corvair. The Sochas jump out and attack them. The broken bottle. We're gonna get to fighting probably tomorrow. The empty neighborhood thing. We've done that one. And then
Wait, go back.
I have had people apparently finding hubcaps because they keep coming and telling me, Mr. Brovicast, over break, I found a hubcap. And I was like, was it on a car? They're like, no, it's on the road. I'm like, on another car? They're like, no, just sitting on the ground. I'm like, oh, well, good job. You could pick that up and resell it for like 4, maybe 5 cents. You get 4 of them. You could have almost,
20 cents.
look, it's you. Someone's making fat cat.
He's a smart.
And so with the Mustangs, and quick question, how many of you guys have physically actually played a record? Where like you have, really? That is impressive.
My stepdaddy has one.
How many of you guys have physically yourself played like little cassette tapes that have like little spinny things in the middle? That is so cool. I like the fact that kids like still have access and like know these. Ooh, how about this one? How many of you guys have ever used the telephone that has the rotary spinny thing? Not just a landline,
My
but
mom
not
has
the.
one, and she also has a
so
big
cool.
monitor.
All right.
My great-great-grandma had me.
I was just curious to see if you guys still have like access to these things, so they're not completely gone.
My grandma has one of those really old ones where it's like on the wall. It's got only our
We used to have one of those too for a long time. Yeah, it's neat. Let's see, it's all those people.
We didn't see those ones.
Yeah, we didn't
We didn't
see
see
those.
those
I
ones.
didn't show you that one. I apologize.
Why does
I wanna
Johnny
see-
look like that?
They look
Some
pretty.
of
They look cool.
So it's the
Dude,
same
get
people,
out here
just slightly
rocking
different
the
one.
Mickey Mouse.
Isha?
Johnny wants to hear.
What's Isha?
Have you seen an eagle's nest?
Like an actual?
Yes.
I've seen an eagle last year when I was in Florida, but no.
So you go in Florida?
That's kinda cool.
Where?
That's the only time you've seen an
I
eagle.
don't think you're gonna
Yeah,
see
they're
it.
not really around here much.
I know.
Son of
Down
bought
there.
an eagle.
Still.
Hi, Ray.
I was driving. Okay, so we have. I have another house up in the country somewhere around like Wabash.
Uh-huh.
And we were driving down like the little forest part to get up to like the gas station, and we saw an eagle just like fly right by us. And it was
Oh.
literally so cool because I've never seen one before.
Well, at Camp Tecumseh, I'm sure there's a chance you could see. I've never seen one, but that would be an area that eagles may be, but it could be. Yeah.
Don't look at.
My stepdad, lived in Cal, sorry, I'm just kidding. Stop! My stepdad lived in Calabasas,
Oh, yeah.
and he still does. We have a house down there, and I saw 2 bald eagles, like, they were just having fun, and it was funny, and it was fun. They were on the pond.
Were they being friendly?
Where the eagle.
Yeah, they were being real friendly.
Serena.
Yeah, they were dripped out like they were bald
Okay.
and stuff.
If I give you my shoe to go out in the hole, will you throw it?
No, if you don't want me to.
Please, dude.
You should throw it.
Page 19. So we have now finished with that little intro part. So now before we get to this part, they're going to mention a couple things I'm going to cover with you guys now.
Chapter 2.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Seriously, on chapter 2?
So they're going to talk about one of the characters stealing cools in a second. If you don't know what cools are, not Kool-Aid.
Cigarettes is what I meant to say.
Yeah, it's almost like Kool-Aid, same thing.
Yeah.
Steal some cancer sticks.
Some cancer sticks. And then they're going to go hang out at a drive-in restaurant. And so
Oh, I've seen one of those.
these
like
are
Sonic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sonic is similar. Usually Sonic is more of just a straight drive-through. These were ones where you had like drive-through signs in the parking lot, and you would park, and they would bring food out to you.
Yeah, that's what Sonic does.
Does that sound do that now? I know.
Yeah.
That's cool. If you watch old movies and TV shows, they'd have like these girls on roller skates who would like bring food out on little trays.
Some of the Sonics you can
Yeah. And so same thing. So this became real popular during this time. Anthony?
It's called like the root beer house or something.
I've heard, and so I know there's one like Dog and Suds. There's another one that was along the same lines. So there's this is Dog and Suds, and so they're not as popular nowadays. But during this period, they were huge. And then the other thing they're going to talk about is going to a drive-in movie.
I've always
I've
wanted
never
to
been to one.
Wait, that's not Fortnite.
You don't go to the movie theater?
Those of you who play Fortnite, they have it on there.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
So yeah, I think it's kind of nifty, but that's like the reference that they're making. We can go ahead and move you back now, Logan. I'll go ahead and move you back now.
Slice my mom.
Because you're done, so I can move you back.
You didn't even do any work.
I know, that's why I'm moving them back. Yeah, well, there you go. Problem solved.
I am done.
And so with the drive-in movie, this is where they're gonna head to next in the story. By the way, we have one. We used to have one up in Noblesville that I went to as a kid, but there's one down in Indianapolis called Tibbs. And the one down in Indianapolis actually has 4 screens. It's like a big parking lot, and each of the different like walls of the square has a big movie theater. And you could sit there and stand in the middle where the concession stand is and turn and look and see like all 4 of these giant movie screens. And you could sit in your car and listen to them. I took my kids to it over quarantine because you couldn't go to movies, and so you could go there and they had that kind of thing, which was kind of neat.
Interesting.
And then there's a, because that's what they're going to get to. And they have in the book, they have this area like out here where they have baseball outdoor seating, like this kind of seating, where if you don't have a car or you don't want to sit in your car, you can go sit in this area to then sit and watch the movie. So that's one of the things they're talking about. Eli,
How do they get out? Like they're all trying to get out at once. It's just gonna cause like.
just like any parking lot, or like when you leave Kings Island at night, it's the same idea.
Oh,
You drive forward,
I got a good question.
That's what
Get into a
traffic's
line.
called.
they are.
Oh wait. So like, how are the cars gonna see? Like, is there like little like is it like stairs?
Kind of depends on how nice the theater is. They'll have them like slightly raised up, but if not, it's just because the screen is up high, so you're looking up to see it. So it usually makes it a little bit easier.
Yes, sir.
And then some people will turn like, usually like trucks will show up and you sit in the back bed of your truck and you'll bring out like lawn furniture. It's usually kind of nifty. Wrong direction.
No.
Wrong direction. Wrong direction. There we go. Chapter 2, page 19.
Got them cancer sticks.
Dally was waiting for Johnny and me under the street light at the corner of Pickett and Sutton. And since we got there early, we had time to go over to the drugstore and the shopping center and goof around. We bought Cokes and blew the straws at the waitress, then walked around eyeing things that were lying out in the open until the manager got wise to us and suggested we leave. He was too late, though. Dally walked out with 2 packages of Cools under his jacket. Then we went across the street and down Sutton a little way to the Dingo. There's lots of drive-ins in town. The Socias go to the Way Out and to Rusty's, and the Greasers go to the Dingo and to Jay's. The Dingo's a pretty rough hangout. There's always a fight going on there. Once, a girl got shot. We walked around, talking to all the greasers and hoods we knew, leaning in car windows or popping into the back seats and getting in on who was running away and who was in jail and who was going with who and who could whip who and who stole what and when and why. I mean, we knew just about everybody there. There was a pretty good fight while we were there between a big 23-year-old greaser and a Mexican hitchhiker. We left when the switchblades came out because the cops be coming soon, and nobody in his right mind wants to be around when the fuzz show. You guys know what the fuzz are?
The cops?
Cops are. Oh, switchblade. Let me cover that real quick. Because that's going to play a big role
Is
coming
that like
up.
a shaver? You use the shave?
Kind of. It's
like a shank.
Dude, it's the guys that like.
so if you don't know what.
Stop! Mr. Broviak! Oh my gosh, that scared me so bad. Wait, is that real?
Oh my god.
So it's not real.
Bro, that scared me.
You would stab.
I would never stab a child.
That was funny.
That scared me.
I'm gonna go on the video for today. I'm getting that.
As you just over.
Can't even see it.
I did like how you asked. You did say please, which was very polite of you. Anytime I stab, yeah, you said, Mr. Broviak, don't please. And I was like, oh, that was so nice. As if I was going to stay, like, oh, did you say please? Never mind. And I just put it back. So anyway, to the rest of you, here's how Switchblade works. Mine's, again, not real, so I can't actually stab Selma, nor can she take it from me and try to stab me. But it would be where you have like a little button on the side, and you hit button, wink, and it comes out, and you can do your little shank, shank, shank. Hit the button, and it would go right back in.
Is that plastic?
For a long time, these were illegal, but now you can actually go out and buy them on Amazon. And so you can get them, they're like $30 on Amazon. Not this plastic one, but like actual like switchblades. You can now, they're now called like button knives or something like that, because literally it just has a button. The problem was, when you would have these original ones in your pocket, typically guys would carry them, and then if you're horsing around and your friend kicked you, it would then open it and like, whink, and it would take the fun out of life. And so because of that, they started making them slightly illegal. The new ones, because I went on Amazon to buy one because I was fascinated, the new ones won't stab through you if you like there's something in front of it and you release the button, it stops like that. And so you can't like hurt yourself nearly as easily with it. Then they redesigned it and came out with what's called like a rainbow blade, where instead of it shooting straight out,
A butterfly?
Oh, my dad has that.
it comes across like that. Mine's like,
Yo, I know some.
Oh, you have to like
Why did you back up?
and so the idea being is that if this is in your pocket, you're not going to get hurt nearly as much because it would just sort of snag itself there. And even though it's not in the story, I have kids who ask, and so butterfly knife. And so the idea of a butterfly knife is there's no mechanical button to hit at all, but it's the one where you can open it up, and then again, there's no actual blade to it.
Do some tricks.
I mean, you're not going to hurt yourself, but the idea is with this one, it's again the joy of Amazon. But the idea is like when you see them in the movies, when they open them up and they try to like mug somebody, like, ooh,
Do it again.
stabby, stabby, and then it's the same idea. This is just a practice one, because when you're going and you have a real knife with a blade on it, you don't want to like hurt yourself when you're trying to.
The practice one. To practice.
Well, wouldn't it be better?
Shh, don't distract me. She's almost lost 10 points this week.
What?
And so when you're going to mug somebody, you don't want to like cut your hand and then drop it, so it works better to have a practice one. Leela?
My friend has like a hairbrush.
Yeah. Cool home thing.
I have 3 of those.
Jameson?
I believe these are
Didn't
only
ask.
80s and 70s movies, but I've seen people use that as like a comb or to shave themselves. Is that true?
Probably. You can use any knife. Just trying to impress people. Back to drive-in movie theater. All right. We crossed Sutton and cut around behind Spencer's Special, the discount house, and chased 2 junior high kids across a field for a few minutes. By then, it was dark enough to sneak in over the back fence of the nightly double drive-in movie. It was the biggest one in town, showed 2 movies every night, and on weekends, 4. You could say you were going to the nightly double and have time to go all over town. And we all had the money to get in. It only costs a quarter if you're not in a car. But Dally hated to do things the legal way. He liked to show that he didn't care whether there was a law or not. I mean, he went around trying to break laws. We went to the rows of seats in front of the concession stand to sit down. Nobody else was there except 2 girls who were sitting down front. Dally eyed them coolly, then walked down the aisle and sat right behind them. I had a sick feeling that Dally was up to his usual tricks. I was right. He started talking loud enough for the 2 girls to hear. He started out bad and got worse. Dallas could talk awfully dirty if he wanted to, and I guess he wanted to then. I felt my ears get hot. I mean, 2-Bit or Steve or even Soda would have gone right along with them just to see if they could embarrass the girls. Those kind of kicks just don't appeal to me. I sat there, struck dumb. Johnny left hastily to get a Coke. I wouldn't have felt so embarrassed if they'd been greasy girls. I mean, I might even have helped old Dallas. But those 2 girls, well, they weren't our kind. They were tough-looking girls, dressed sharp and really good-looking. They looked about 16 or 17. One had short, dark hair, and the other had long, red hair. The redhead was getting mad, or scared. She sat up straight, and she was chewing hard on her gum. The other one just pretended not to hear Dally. Dally was getting impatient. He put his feet up on the back of the redhead's chair, winked at me, and then beat his own record for saying something dirty. She turned around and gave him a cool stare. "Take your feet off my chair and shut your trap." Boy, she was good looking. And I'd seen her before. She was a cheerleader at our school. I'd always thought she was stuck up. Dally merely looked at her and kept his feet where they were. "Who's gonna make me?" The other one turned around and watched us. "That's the greaser that jockeys for the Slash J sometimes," she said, as if we couldn't hear her. The quick pause, because I had to look up multiple things there. The Slash J was a gas station, like we have Shell or Marathon, Amoco, and then a gas jockey. Nope, not that one. Skip there. Skip there. Gas jockey's job was, if you went to the gas station, instead of filling up your own gas, their job was to come out and pump the gas for you. And so when you would go to the thing, instead of having to get out in the heat or get out in the cold, is that one of their employees would come out there, find out how much you wanted to put in your gas tank, fill it up for you, then they'd clean your windshield and stuff like that. If you go to New Jersey or Oregon, they still have them. I don't think there's anywhere around here. When I was a kid back during dinosaur times, they still had some because my grandma always used them, but then they kind of died off after a while because it made your gas more expensive, and people would rather have cheaper gas and not pay somebody to come do it for them. Anyway, I'd heard the same tone a million times. Greaser, greaser, greaser. Oh yeah, I'd heard that tone before too many times. What are they doing at a drive-in without a car, I thought. And Dallas said, "Hey, I know you two. I've seen you around rodeos. It's a shame you can't ride bull half as good as you can talk it," the redhead said coolly, then turned back around. I didn't bother Dally in the least. "Yeah, you two barrel race, huh? You better leave us alone," the redhead said in a biting voice, "or I'll call the cops." Oh, my. Dally looked bored. "You got me scared to death. You ought to see my record sometime, baby." He grinned slyly. "Guess what I've been in for?" "Please leave us alone. Why don't you be nice and just leave us alone?" Dally grinned roguishly. "I'm never nice. You want a Coke?" She was mad by then. "I wouldn't drink it if I was starving in the desert. Get lost, hood." Dally really shrugged and strolled off. The girls looked at me. I was half scared of her. I'm half scared of all nice girls, especially Sosha's. "Are you going to start in on us?" I shook my head wide-eyed. "No." Suddenly she smiled. Gosh, she was pretty. "You don't look the type. What's your name?" I wish she hadn't asked me that. I hate telling people my name for the first time. "Ponyboy Curtis?" And then I waited for, "You're kidding," or "That's your real name?" or one of the other remarks I usually get. Ponyboy is my real name. Personally, I like it. The redhead just smiled. "That's an original and lovely name." "Well, my dad was an original person. I've got a brother named Soda Pop. It says so on his birth certificate." "Well, my name's Sherry, but I'm called Cherry because of my hair. Cherry Balance." "I know. You're a cheerleader? We go to the same school." "You don't look old enough to be going to high school," the dark-haired girl said. "I'm not. I got put up a year in grade school." Cherry was looking at me. "Well, what's a nice, smart kid like you running around with trash like that for?" I felt myself stiffen. "I'm a grease, same as Dally. He's my buddy." "Oh, I'm sorry, Ponyboy." Then she said briskly, "Your brother Soda Pop, does he work at a gasoline station? A DX, I think?" "Yeah." "Man, your brother's one doll. I might have guessed you were brothers. I mean, you look alike." I grinned with pride. I don't think I look one bit like Soda, but it's not every day I hear socials telling me they think my brother's a doll. "Didn't he used to ride in rodeos? Saddle bronc?" "Yeah. Dad made him quit after he tore a ligament, though. We still hang around rodeos a lot. And I've seen you two barrel race. You're good." "Thanks," Cherry said. And the other girl, who was named Marcia, said, "How come we don't see your brother at school? He's not any older than 16 or 17, is he?" I winced inside. "I told you I can't stand it that Soda dropped out." "He's a dropout." Now, dropout, it made me think of some poor, dumb-looking hoodlum wandering the streets and breaking out streetlights. It didn't fit my happy-go-lucky brother at all. It fitted Dally perfectly, but you could hardly say it about Soda. Johnny came back then, sat down beside me. He looked around for Dally, then managed to shy hi to the girls and tried to watch the movie. He was nervous, though. Johnny was always nervous around strangers. Cherry looked at him, sizing him up as she had me. Then she smiled softly. I knew she'd sized him up right. Dally came striding back with an armful of Cokes. He handed one to each of the girls and sat down beside Cherry. This might cool you off. She gave him an incredulous look, and then she threw her Coke in his face. That might cool you off, greaser. After you wash your mouth and learn to talk and act decent, I might cool off too. Dally wiped the Coke off his face with a sleeve and smiled dangerously. Now, if I'd been Cherry, I would have beat it out of there. I knew that smile. Fiery, huh? Well, that's the way I like 'em. He started to put his arm around her. Johnny reached over and stopped him. Leave her alone, Dally. Huh? Dally was taken off guard. He stared at Johnny in disbelief. Johnny couldn't say boo to a goose. Johnny gulped and got a little pale, but he said, You heard me. Leave her alone? Dally scowled for a second. If it had been me, or Two-Bit, or Soda, or Steve, or anyone but Johnny, Dally would have flattened him without a moment's hesitation. You just didn't tell Dally Winston what to do. One time, in a dime store, a guy told him to move over at the candy store, candy counter. Dally had turned around, belted him so hard it knocked the guy's tooth loose. Complete stranger, too. But Johnny was the gang's pet, and Dally just couldn't hit him. I mean, he was Dally's pet, too. Dally got up and stalked off, his fists jammed in his pockets and a frown on his face. He didn't come back. Cherry sighed in relief. Oh, thank you. He had me scared to death. Johnny managed an admiring grin. You sure didn't show it. Nobody talks to Dally like that. She smiled. Well, from what I saw, you do. Johnny's ears got red. I was still staring at him. It'd taken more than nerve for him to say what he'd said to Dally. Johnny worshipped the ground Dallas walked on. And I'd never heard Johnny talk back to anyone, much less his hero. Marcia grinned at us. She was a little smaller than Cherry. She was cute. That Cherry Valance was a real looker. Y'all sit up here with us. You can protect us. Johnny and I looked at each other. He grinned suddenly, raising his eyebrows. They disappeared under his bangs. Would we ever have something to tell the boys? His eyes said plainly. We picked up 2 girls, and classy ones at that. Not any greasy broads for us, real socias. Soda would flip when I told him. Okay, I said nonchalantly. I mean, might as well. I sat between them, and Johnny sat next to Cherry. How old are y'all? 14? I said. 16, said Johnny. That's funny, Marcia said. I thought you were both 16. Cherry finished for her. I was grateful. I mean, Johnny looked 14, and he knew it, and it bugged him something awful. Johnny grinned. How come y'all ain't scared of us like you were Dally? Cherry sighed. You two, you're too sweet to scare anyone. First of all, you didn't join in Dallas' dirty talk, and you made him leave us alone. And when we asked you to sit up here with us, you didn't act like it was an invitation to make out for the night. Besides that, I've heard about Dallas Winston. He looked as hard as nails and twice as tough. You two don't look mean. Sure, we're young and innocent. No, Cherry said slowly, looking at me carefully. Not innocent. You've seen too much to be innocent. Just not dirty. Dally's okay, Johnny said defensively, and I nodded. You take up for your buddies, no matter what they do. When you're a gang, you stick up for the members. If you don't stick up for them, stick together, make like brothers, it isn't a gang anymore. It's a pack. A snarling, distrustful, bickering pack. like the Socias and their social clubs, or the street gangs in New York, or the wolves in the timber. He's tough, but he's a cool old guy. He'd leave you alone if he knew you, I said. That was true. I mean, when Steve's cousin from Kansas came down, Dally was decent to her and watched us swearing. We all did around nice girls who were the cousinly type. I don't know how to explain it. Oh, we try to be nice to the girls we see once in a while, like cousins or the girls in class, but we still watch a nice girl go by on a street corner and say all kinds of lousy stuff about her. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. Well, Marcia said with finality, I'm glad he doesn't know us. I kind of admire him, Cherry said softly, so only I heard, and then we settled down to watch the movie. Oh, yeah, we found out why they were without a car. They'd come with their boyfriends, but walked out on them when they found out the boys had brought some booze along. The boys had gotten angry and left. I'm assuming you guys know what booze is.
Cheating.
No.
Oh.
Like drinking.
Yeah, alcohol. I don't know what kind of alcohol, but some kind of alcohol. I don't care if they did. Cherry sounded annoyed. It's not my idea of a good time to sit in a drive-in and watch people get drunk. You could tell by the way she said it that her idea of a good time was probably high class and probably expensive. They decided to stay and see the movie anyway. It was one of those beach party movies with no plot, no acting, but a lot of girls in bikinis and some swinging songs, so it was all right. We were all four sitting there in silence when suddenly a strong hand came down on Johnny's shoulder and another on mine, and a deep voice said, "Okay, greasers, you've had it!" I almost jumped out of my skin. It was like having someone leap out from behind a door and yell boo at you. I looked fearfully over my shoulder, and there was Two-Bit grinning like a Chessy cat. Quick pause. Do you guys know what a Chessy cat is a reference to?
Nerd.
There was this movie called Alice in Wonderland. And they did a remake.
Weird.
Does that help you
like
figure it out? Yeah.
It's weird.
So in the movie and the cartoon one, he's always like this great big gigantic grin. So when they turn around to look at Two-Bit, he's just this giant grin turning around and staring at them. So that's the Chessy cat reference. And I figure with that giant creepy picture, that'll be where we stop.
Doesn't that cat have like a power? I forgot what it was.
He disappears.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's sitting
And
in the
it's
back of
creepy.
the stairs.
We'll get you one on.
It's a little weird.